Hello everyone, how are you? I hope my sound is good. Today I'm gonna talk a little bit about the recent material that was released regarding Richard Allen, the police interviews, the confessions. Very interesting material. As you can see, I'm not today in my usual setup. This is because I'm on vacations. I'm in my hometown city, Medellin, Colombia. I'm in the room of my brother. As you can see, he's crazy about music. So that's why you can see a different setup today. If someone is there, please let me know if my sound is good. Thank you. I want to start with two things before talking about Richard Allen confessions and interviews. The first thing is just to wish a full recovery to my good friend Jeff Ignatowski. You know, I did a couple of shows with Jeff. He had a heart attack, something related with his brain. At one point, he was expecting to have a brain surgery, but hopefully or thank, thankfully, thanks to God, he didn't have to have that brain surgery. Thank you, RC99, for telling me that my sound is good. Hello, Melissa, how are you? So yeah, my best vibes to Jeff Ignatowski. I hope you're gonna recover fully and very quick, Jeff. Thank you for that. The other thing is just to show you guys how crazy is this country here. I know that United States is crazy too, but just to tell you what happened this week in my country. This is a transgender person. He was killed this week. The whole city is in a state of shock. The image here is blurry, but actually we can see the actual video in internet. They broke her arms, they broke her legs, and they threw this trans person to a creek. So of course she was not able to swim to get out of the creek. The worst people were recording the situation. The video is everywhere in internet. It's so hard to watch that. The girl was suffering like crazy. Police arrived to the scene. They were able to take her out of the creek, but she died because of the injuries, because of a lot of water entered into her lungs, and because of the contamination of that river. So that was horrible. I'm gonna do a video about that very soon. I just wanted to show you how crazy is this world. So this is gonna be kind of quick. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna go to the chat very soon. I want to start saying that again, I don't know if Richard Allen is the killer or not. After watching these interviews and these confessions, I don't think that anything in these interviews proves or disproves his guiltiness, his culpability, or his innocence. To me, actually, there are a lot of stuff that is like in favor of Richard Allen, in my opinion. I still believe he may be involved, but this is nothing related to these interviews or to these confessions. You know that this is because of the Wabash River search. And actually, after watching these interviews, I have a crazy, wild, far-fetched theory that I want to share with you at the end of this video. And I think that maybe Keegan Klein was more sophisticated than we think, and I'm gonna explain later why. But let's go with this interview right now. a couple of things I want to talk about. So people are saying that the voice is an exact match. To me, this is really just plain stupid, in my opinion, and is full confirmation bias. You cannot say that his voice is a match or that his voice is not a match. That is 100% British guy voice. I understand you can say, I think this is a similar voice, stuff like that. But you cannot say this is a perfect match. The voice is a perfect match. This is really stupid. It's like convenient pareidolia, in my opinion. And people that already made their minds, thinking that Richard Allen is guilty, they are going to hear British guy talking in that interrogation room when he's talking to the police. And the opposite. People that are convinced that Richard Allen is innocent, they're going to say, this is not his voice at all. So that's the first thing. We know that the voice analysis experts, they say you cannot take any conclusion when you hear the down the hill audio because the voice sample is too short. So you cannot say that this is a perfect match, like in that radical way, or that this is not a perfect match. You cannot say that. So that was my first how can I say, thought about that. My brother is watching me right now and it's making me nervous. So now he left. So yeah, I was watching the Tom Webster video when he was presenting or showing us these materials. And I was reading the comments in the chat, and some comments were really just insane. Some comments were really stupid. Even some creators that I respect, let's say, commenting in the Tom Webster channel that saying things like, look the way Richard Allen moves his foot. Stuff like that is really, 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 really stupid. To me, Richard Allen acted like a normal person in this interview. He was very cooperative. Of course, he was frustrated. I didn't see any contradiction. He sounded reliable. He doesn't look like playing games, in my opinion. So when people are saying, look the way he's touching his bird, or look the way he's moving his hand, or taking drinking water, or moving his feet, that was really his foot. That was really stupid, in my opinion. Again, I think that Richard Allen was super stupid. He was very naive. It is very weird that he didn't ask for a lawyer. So, anyways, one of the things I really didn't like at all, and to me that reinforces my thinking about Holman. Holman is a piece of shit. Just the way he talked to Kathy Allen, I understand and I sympathize with Richard Allen when he said, let my wife out of this. Fuck with me, play with me, but let my wife, let Kathy out of this stuff. To me, it is clear that Holman, he was trying to break Kathy Allen in a separate interview room, playing games with her. To me, she was like traumatized, and not traumatized because you told me that you were not in the bridge of that day. He was traumatized because Holman was breaking her, traumatizing her with lies. Because the main core of this whole interrogation was the bullet, and we know that this is just junk science. And the first thing that Kathy said when he came to the interrogation room was, they say that the bullet is your bullet. How can you explain that? Something like that, something in that sense. And we know that this is just junk. And I know everybody is gonna say that police, law enforcement, they are allowed to lie. But to me, this is just a bad culture and the way he was just breaking his wife is not correct, in my opinion, especially when he was breaking her with that junk science stupidity. We know that they didn't have anything to arrest Richard Allen. They used as the main point for the arrest the bullet that was found at the crime scene. That was the item that connected Richard Allen to the crime, and we know that this is just bullshit. So to me, there were no grounds to arrest Richard Allen. They had to put him after in the Westville Correctional Facility, and that's why they were just trying to bribe him to confess. And we know that those confessions were just very questionable, at the least. What else? Let me see here. Remember people saying before knowing or watching these interviews that when Richard Allen said an innocent person wouldn't kill those girls, and they were making a big noise about that. And when you watch the interview, it's normal to say that an innocent person wouldn't kill those girls. He's not accepting or confessing something. So I want to see what are the 61 confessions that Richard Allen made, because if this one was one of those confessions, an innocent person wouldn't kill those girls. It's just stupid. The guy was really acting like a normal person. Of course, he was frustrated. He was not playing games. In my opinion, I didn't feel any serial killer or killer vibe when listening or watching to this interview. I don't know, guys. I was really, I don't know, frustrated at the same time. I wouldn't like law enforcement talking to me in that way, trying to cheat me with that bullshit. I was mad because he was not asking for a lawyer, and that's a point. During that video that was released by or showed to us by Tom Webster, there are some cuts. You know, sometimes you can see some black spaces between or in between. And what is that's because he was asking for a lawyer. Maybe at one point he said, "Hey, you know what? I'm done with this. I need a lawyer." And they are cutting that. With these people from Indiana State Police and Carroll County, I wouldn't be surprised at all if something like that happened. It's just weird that we can see black cuts in that interview. Why is that? To me, it's very suspicious, very, very, very suspicious. Again, I think there is like a convenient pareidolia when we hear or when we listen to Richard Allen. In the same case, when we are watching that still image of the black card, people say this is a perfect match to the Ford focus of Richard Allen. And come on, guys, that's a very blurry image, like the bridge guy walking on the bridge image or still image that was released at the beginning of the case. Blurry image. Everything here is blurry. Everything here is blurry. This is a really shady investigation. I don't want to be naive either. I think that there were interesting things, and this is a matter of perception here. To me, it was interesting that every time that Richard Allen was saying, "I didn't kill those girls," he was very adamant. He was very firm in that statement. He was always saying, "I didn't kill those girls." But when he said, "I didn't help anyone," he was not that adamant. He was like not that convinced, in my opinion. So that's why I think that maybe not that's why, but maybe that reinforces my confirmation bias in regards of his potential participation. Maybe he was not the killer, but maybe he was there participating in some way. And I'm gonna tell you later my theory about that. Again, when he said I didn't kill those girls, he was very convincing. I was really, oh, this guy didn't kill those girls. But then when and also I didn't help anyone. He doesn't say the same in the same way with the same convincement, let's say. Of course, when he was talking to Kathy, and she said that you told me that you were not in the bridge or something like that. It's interesting. I'm not gonna say something definitive to say that he was a bridge guy or he was the killer, but it's interesting, maybe you don't, when you talk to your wife, you don't talk to her telling her every single detail. Maybe he just said, yeah, I was there on the 13th of February. I was on the trails. I was around the bridge, something like that. Maybe he didn't tell her the whole story. People would say, well, that was a very significant event in Delphi. You should have like a deepest or deep conversation with your wife about that. Anyways, those are some thoughts I have so far. So I'm gonna go to the chat for a moment before going with the video of the interview. Anna Lisette, thank you, Anna. So to me, the interrogations show innocence and ignorance of the crime. I agree. I had the same vibe. To me, he was very cooperative again. I didn't feel any weird vibe of Richard Allen trying to play games there or hiding something. I didn't have that feeling, let's say. But the voice on the confessions is very much like BG. That's in your opinion. I don't agree. I don't disagree with you, Anna, but it's 50-50. When I hear Ron Logan or Keegan Kline, I would say the same. They sound very much like Bridge Guy. So everybody sounds like Bridge Guy here. Ron Logan, he sounds like Bridge Guy. Keegan Kline, he sounds like Bridge Guy. And some people say that Richard Allen sounds like Bridge Guy. So anyways, but the girl said they were going down the hill before the man spoke. A mess. Yeah, that's interesting. They were saying that they were going down the hill before Bridge Guy instruct them to go there. RC99, hello man, thank you for being here. You say my sound is good. Thank you for that. Melissa, hello Cryptex, hello Anna. Good to see you, Melissa. Melissa, I never thought he was guilty till he told Kathy in prison that he did it. I think that every single statement, every single confession that he made when he was in prison is just very questionable. I wouldn't put a lot of weight on that confessions, and we know why. We know that he was almost in solitary confinement during more than 1 year. That's fucking crazy. He was being drugged with Haldol. You know what happened with Dr. Walla, with Dr. Walla's friends, the YouTuber that deleted everything, Gray. So was Walla feeding information to Richard Allen? We don't have any recording. We don't have any notes taken by Walla. So I don't know. I wouldn't put too much weight on that confessions. So let's continue here. When I heard it on Monday, I agree. I wouldn't put any too much weight on that. That's just my opinion. Interrogation, he looks innocent, but then when I heard him say he did to Kathy, can't lie about that. when you're talking again about the confessions that he made in prison, and again, to me, those interrogations are very questionable. I wouldn't put too much weight on that interrogations. Analyse. This guy's voice rose at the end of what he said, like questions, guys, down the hill. The confessions are the same. But with only 4 words, even experts cannot define whose voice is used. Again, that was my point when I was talking about that at the beginning of the live. Convenient pareidolia, confirmation bias. I repeat again, Ron Logan, Keegan Klein, they sound like this guy in my opinion, and maybe Richard Allen as well. So I think we cannot take any conclusion about their voice, in my opinion, again. RC99. Holman seemed more unhinged than Rick. Holman is just a incompetent person, and they had to use that bullet bullshit to connect Richard Allen to the crime, and they were successful with that. So it is what it is. And as I said, a problem with the confession is that the creek crossing is never mentioned. That would be a huge part of the crime. It sounds like the confessions were coerced and scripted. And it's very suspicious that we don't have any recording of that confession when he's talking about the van, because again, he didn't. If he said van, he didn't say white van, and if he actually said that, it's questionable again. Maybe while I was feeding Richard Allen with information, he was in the same group with that YouTuber, delete everything. He was in contact. She was in contact with Gray. She's a disgrace of her profession. So, yeah, and also, I know that we don't have a motive to convict a person here in this crime, but we have to understand the motive. And according to the state, the motive was that Richard Allen wanted to assault sexually the girls, Abby and Libby. And it's just not, it doesn't make sense that if he was spooked by a white van, he just decided to kill the girls without assaulting them sexually. It doesn't make sense. If the whole motive, according to the state, was to assault the girls sexually, why did he cross the creek after being spooked by the van and he killed the girls without assaulting them? I don't know. It doesn't make sense still to me, that theory. It's just doesn't make sense. I don't understand. And I said again, I thought Kathy Allen's distress about crossing the bridge or not was because she feared she had given the wrong answer to police. That's right, Anna. You're right here. Like they had been harsh with her and she forgot what Richard Allen told her. I agree, and she was like more concerned about the bullet, in my opinion. When he entered into the interrogation room, she entered into the interrogation room, she was right away talking about the bullet, like blaming Richard Allen in some way because his bullet was found at the crime site. And they were playing with both of them in regards of the bullet. To me, like 80% of the interrogation was about the bullet. They didn't talk too much about the witnesses. They didn't talk too much about the car, about the clothes. Yes, of course, they talked a little bit about that, but they were concentrated, focused on that bullet. And if at the end they arrested Richard Allen because they found that bullet at the crime site, and this is junk science, this was just bad since the beginning. Something that people don't give too much importance here is that in some parts of the interrogation, or in the interrogation or interview, Jerry Holman says the bullet was at a distance of 6 inches from the foot of one of the girls. A very specific information. So in this interview, he was already feeding information that only the killer would know to Richard Allen. So what would be different when we think about Monica Walla? So they were doing this in front of a camera, feeding information to Allen. The exact distance between the foot of one of the girls and the bullet. Nobody's talking about that, and this is one of the worst things I saw here in this interview. So it gives you an idea of the dirtiness of these guys. If they are able to feed information to Richard Allen here in this material that is going to be part of the evidence, imagine what is going to happen in other situations where there are no cameras, there are no witnesses. Monica Walla. Anyway, RC99, they are missing the trust that someone like Kathy would have in the cops. Of course, and just lesson learned, call a lawyer right away. You have to call a lawyer. This guy was really cooperating with law enforcement, and look what happened at the end. Analyzed. When sensitive subjects came up, I expected Richard Allen to react if he was guilty, but he didn't. And guys, we all are here in this community because we like true crime. And I'm pretty sure that you, like me, we watched a lot of interrogations like that. And 99% of the interrogations, in 99% of those interrogations, you can see that the suspect is lying, because they are acting weird, they are changing patterns, they are really caught in their lies. Why? Because the police or law enforcement, they had something against them. But in this case, it's not the case. It's a total different situation. This guy, in my opinion, he doesn't act, or he doesn't look, or he doesn't sound guilty, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that he is not, but it's just insane that people were saying that the way he's moving his foot, or the way he's moving his shoulders, is an indication that he was a guilty person. This is the most normal interrogation behavior, let's say, by a suspect in the world, for real. Analyzed. Richard and his wife are small town folks. They are not used to hiring attorneys, and probably they cannot afford one. They assume innocence will prove out, in my opinion. 100%. I agree with you, Anna. I have the same thinking. No one can force him to say he did it. That's against the law. When you are in a prison for more than 1 year, your mind is in another place. Your mind is not in the right place. And if you are being bullied by guards, or if people are saying, or if you see that your wife is not able to be like in a normal situation in terms of getting a job, getting, I don't know, social interactions with the community, because everybody thinks that your husband is in prison and you are covering for him. At the end, all of those things goes to the mind of the person who is in prison, and he would say, you know what, I'm going to confess just to give a little bit of peace to my family, to my wife. I'm just saying, maybe something like that happened in this case. I think that every single confession that Richard Allen made in that correctional facility is just questionable. He didn't admit to it. Interrogation kept saying he didn't do it, but in prison he told Kathy, I didn't. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And I think we have an explanation for that, in my opinion. Analyzed. The girls decided to go down the hill before the man spoke. The state has to prove kidnap during the 43 seconds video, or they have nothing, in my opinion. Usually I agree with Anna, and I agree again. Anna, you think he's innocent? No. I used to think he was innocent until other night his video in prison telling Kathy he did. So Anna answers, my position is the same. I don't know. And again, I agree with Anna. I don't know either. But I am absolutely unimpressed with the investigation, prosecution, etc. In my opinion, they prove nothing. I agree 100% with Anna Lisette here. People who want to continue investigating this case make a mistake when they choose sides. I agree. Again, I agree 100%. It's not the time to take a side. Too much is still unknown, in my opinion. Anna, you should come here and do my live streaming because you're just stealing my words. Junior Johnson is here. I think he's not going to be happy about my streaming today, but it's always nice to have you here, Junior. Anna Lisette saying hello to Junior. Hiawatha. Hiawatha is here. How are you, Hiawatha? If you listen to the confession where he tells his wife he did it, you will hear the next thing he say is, I cannot stop. There's someone here listening to me right now, dear. Again, you're right, Hiawatha. Every single confession he made there in that correctional facility is just questionable. Good point. I'm glad you're here, Hiawatha. Melissa, I agree. So many fight over this case, and everyone has right one opinion without being harassed. I agree with Melissa. Anna says, I heard what you described. It sounded like someone in the background was facilitating the call. Yeah, 100%. Hiawatha, please listen to that confession rather than reading what someone typed it to say. Right. There is a lot of misinformation here, and people don't tend to go to the original source. Some people, if your favorite YouTuber says, this is what he said, or this is what happened, they just believe that because they trust his favorite creator, let's say. But the thing is, you have to go to the original source, to the video, to the audio, to the transcription, to the letters written by Ricky Davis. Ricky Davis in 2017 having knowledge about the box cutter, stuff like that. Go to the original source. Don't stay with the words of your favorite creator, because some creators are dirty. Some creators are they have an agenda here. They are here just for ego, playing dirty games, messing with the case, infiltrating with law enforcement, working with law enforcement, deleting everything after law enforcement order them to delete everything in their platforms. So just be very responsible in that way. Go to the original source. That's very important. Hiawatha, he plainly stated that someone was right there with him listening. I other words making sure he said what he was supposed to. Yeah, sounds like sounds fishy. The confessions sound fishy. Just the fact he was there in those conditions after more than 1 year is just so fishy. They were expecting to break Richard Allen to confess in order to be able to have a guilty conviction here. So that's what happened. Melissa, again, you were all about him guilty from day one. Hiawatha, I noticed that someone made a transcript of the confessions and left that part out. That's bad. Again, I agree with Hiawatha 100%. Go to the source. Analyze it. That's why it is good to express opinions as just that. Yeah, exactly, as opinions. Supporting one side or another could create embarrassment in the future. And in both sides, there's already some embarrassment. Yeah, and don't say things like radical things like this is his voice. This is just stupid. How can you say that Richard Allen's voice is Bridge Guy voice? You cannot say that. And in the same sense, you cannot say that this is not his voice. You can say, I think that this is a similar voice. I think that is not similar, in my opinion. But when you say 100%, this guy is his voice matches Bridge Guy, that's just stupid. Hiawatha, you not once seen me type he's guilty or innocent, because I'm honestly still on the fence. And me too, I'm still on the fence with Hiawatha. I have my theory, but I'm not gonna say that I'm right with that theory. I just try to connect some dots, and this is what I think. But I cannot say I'm right, or for sure he's guilty, or for sure he's innocent. It's just stupid. Especially when this investigation was that crap. Analyzed. Me too. I still don't know. For every scrap of evidence, there is a yeah, but exactly. Carol is here. Hello, Carol. Analyzed. I do some serious original research in subjects other than true crime. I need to not look like an idiot at some point. Anna is one of the more common sense brains in this community. Melissa Wildcard, but we all have right to out opinions. I agree with you. Opinions, yes, for sure. For sure. Analyzed. Early in the first police interview, Richard Allen calmly described his and his family's experience at the trails. Said had crossed the bridge, but quit when the bridge disintegrated. Wasn't said like a deflection. 100%. I think this guy was really, I don't know, he was very natural, convincing, in my opinion, not playing games, not trying to, I didn't see one single contradiction here. You're gonna say, yeah, he had 5 years to prepare himself for that interrogation, but even when you are prepared and you have a speech in your mind, if you're lying, they are gonna catch you in a lie, and they were not able to do that. They were just trying to play with his mind when they were talking during 40 minutes, repeating the same question about the bullet, and he was always very adamant about that. This is not my bullet. This is crazy. So I don't know. He didn't give me any killer vibes at all. I know it doesn't mean anything, but I'm just saying. Annalise said, hello, be fishy. Don't hate, create. How are you? Annalise said, opinions are great and we learn from each other. I'm following this latest evidence released on channels that are for and against Richard Allen. Me too. I try to do the same. Big Fish on the floor. Saying hello to Hiawatha, Melissa, J. Ray, Cryptex. Happy to have you here, Big Fish. Do you want to call Big Fishy? I'm gonna drop the link here. And if you want to call, that would be just great. So the link is in the chat. Okay. Hey, something fishy. I don't like that term. Yeah, that's funny. J. Ray in the building. Cryptex, I couldn't agree more. Happy to have you here, J. Ray. Analyzed. A reason I believe the box cutter information is dodgy is because it seems police only said it after the confessions mentioned it. Yet Ricky Davis described a box cutter June 2017. That's something that the pro-prosecution side is just trying to not to see. Just, okay, but that's not important. And this is very important. Ricky Davis, he knew about the box cutter, something that only the killer would know in 2017. And when that question was asked to that YouTuber, delete everything, remember? He said that, maybe Richard Allen gave that information to Ricky Davis. Confirmation bias, tunnel vision. They just want to keep the things or the elements that fit their narrative. They don't want to see the whole mountain of elements that don't add up here. A lot of stuff doesn't add up. It's crazy. State theory doesn't nothing to explain the crime scene staging or Anthony shots. And I'm gonna go with Anthony shots soon, guys, because I had a theory. And one of the interesting things here in this information, in this interrogation, is that Richard Allen, he was mentioning that he was living close to, or he was working in a CVS pharmacy in Peru in 2016. And the address of that CVS pharmacy was very close to the pharmacy of the clients. And this is far-fetched, I know, but I just want to say it because it rings something here in my brain. I know it's far-fetched, I know it's crazy, but I think there's a possibility here. We know that in Delphi, Richard Allen was working in the photography department, let's say, like in Spanish is revelar. I don't know if it's the same thing in English. Revealing the pictures, like producing the actual pictures, like in a paper format, let's say. And at one point, he gave the pictures of the, I don't know if it was the crime scene or something like that, to the family. Anyways, he was working like in the photography department of the CVS in Delphi. So first big if is, I don't know if he was doing the same thing in Peru, in that CVS building. And maybe that was part of the, maybe Keegan Kline was more sophisticated than we think. Remember that at one point, he was allegedly working in a marijuana business, and he was delivering envelopes or packages of marijuana to his clients. And we tend to think about, of course, and that's the case, about Keegan Kline in terms of catfishing, but in the digital world, right? And producing or distributing TSAM material in internet, in the dark web, or using burner phones. But we don't think about Keegan Kline working with actual physical photographies, What if he was doing that? And to do that, he needed someone to produce those pictures, those photos. I'm just saying, Richard Allen, he was living very close to the clients in Peru in 2017. What if Keegan Kline was in the need of having the pictures he had in the digital world, like in the paper world? And what if Richard Allen was facilitating that? Remember that Keegan Kline went to Vegas right after the event, after the date of the murders. And he was delivering marijuana packages. What if he was delivering something different? Because a picture is not going to be as traceable as a picture, a physical picture. I mean, a photo is not as traceable as a digital picture in internet. So I don't know. That was something I know, crazy, far-fetched. I know that in the comments you're gonna send tomatoes to Cryptex soon, but that was just a a crazy idea here. And again, when Richard Allen was saying, I didn't kill anyone, he was very adamant, he was very firm. But when he was saying, I didn't help anyone, he was not that adamant. So, and again, when we think about Keegan Kline and the arrest of Richard Allen, the connection point is the Wabash River. So whatever, I'm gonna continue here with the chat. I believe that's why Nick McLellan included Ron Logan and Keegan Kline in the third-party exclusion. The Davis letter. Good point, Hawata, good point. Linda K. Johnson. Hi, Cryptex and all. Happy to have you here, Linda K. I 100% believe he is one of a very few honest males in Delphi. He may be, just, I think he demonstrated that in this interview. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He was answering to the same questions again and again and again. He didn't have one single contradiction. I don't know. And of course, he was frustrated at one point. When he was talking to Mullin, at the end, he said, "You're a fucking asshole." And I think he was very respectful. That was the less strong insult, let's say, because they are assholes. And yeah, 100%. I think he was honest in this interrogation. Analyze it. The Delphi trail system is supposed to be about 200 acres. That is a huge amount of land, and trees, creek, bridge. All sorts of people could be hiding anywhere and not seen by witnesses. This is a great point. That area is huge. There are trees, and just the fact people say that no one saw any other guy there. Well, if someone is there to commit a crime, it's like fair to say that maybe he was hiding behind that tree. He was hiding somewhere. He was not just dancing in the middle of the trail or on the bridge. Yeah, I agree 100% with you, Annalise. 100%. This is the link if you want to call. Let me go down with the comments. J. Ray, I have a theory, but everyone hates it. Come on, you are in the same position I am. J. Ray, tell us your theory. I'm really interested. Big fish. Yeah, the deleter. Oh my God. I call him, but let me get my coffee. Ah, cool. Fish is gonna call. That's gonna be awesome, guys. Photo developing printing. Hey, you stole my theory, J. Ray. Come on, you stole my theory. We were connected in that theory. That's my theory, exactly my same theory. Right now. So crossing the creek is not part of the state theory, nor of the confessions. That was a big thing. If an offender wanted to confess, I think he'd blame the victims for the creek crossing. Yeah. Interesting, huh? His coworkers from Peru CVS said that he was a manager in training while working with them. Yeah, but I want to know if, this is my thinking. I'm thinking the same as you, J. Ray, but I want to know if he was producing those pictures when he was in Peru at the CVS pharmacy, or if he started only when he was transferred to Delphi, because that's going to make a huge difference. But maybe that was the extent of his participation in the crime. Maybe. I think some people are going to say it's far-fetched. Some people are going to say, well, makes sense. But anyways, I think it's a possibility. Hiawatha. Allen printed off the flyers for Tara and paid for them. That's the CVS photo thing. Okay, thank you for that, Hiawatha. Thank you for the clarification. Exactly. So that type of work, printing pictures, is that Is that was happening between Keegan and Allen? Maybe he was just being paid online of the site to have those pictures, and that's the way Keegan was working on that business. You know, maybe Keegan is. I'm telling you guys, Keegan is an underestimated person. To me, he was the mastermind of this whole situation. Maybe it was better to have printed pictures and not digital pictures when he went to Vegas, because in some type of police intervention or something like that, you're gonna destroy or you're gonna eat those papers. But if you have that in your phone, you're done. You know what I mean? Hi, what up? Cryptex, your theory is plausible. Thank you. Analyzet. It doesn't sound like Crips have actual printed photos or of their sick desires. It seems these things are online, dark web, Dropboxes, burner phones, whatever. I don't know. You know why? Think about the book. Today we have computers. We have what's the name of those devices to read books? Forgot the name. Some people, they don't want to buy electronic devices to read books because they prefer the physical material, the physical papers, the paper. They like to have the things on. Is more personal when you have a printed picture. It's not the same. If you have a printed picture and you have a digital picture, you're gonna be more, I don't know, triggered, or I think you understand my point. So, and I'm gonna be a little bit vulgar. Fish is here.
Hello, can you hear
Hello,
me?
Fishy. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know if you can increase your volume a little bit, but yeah, I can hear you.
Here, well, let me go out and I'll come back in, okay?
No problem. No, but you sound fine anyways. Don't worry.
I think I can make it better.
Okay. Okay. Let's wait again. Jay Wright. I think that as unbelievable as it is, it might actually be a coincidence, and there's no connection between Richard Allen and Keegan Klein, Anthony Shots. Well, to me, the connection is the Wabash River. But yeah, and it's very weird that Holman is saying today that he cannot talk about the Wabash River search. This is really interesting, in my opinion. Linda K. Johnson. There were other guys there. Daniel Pearson, Dave McCain, Dan McCain, the guy dressed in black. Yeah. No, that was not my theory. Okay. I was just answering to your question. Okay. When you were trying to remember that what the photo developing was called. Okay, photo developing. Okay. Thank you. In Spanish, it's revelar photos. So I thought that maybe in English was revealing pictures, but yeah, okay. Developing pictures, printing pictures. Thank you for that. Analyze. And the state has always tried to say that at the time of the crime, only BG and the girls were present. I never believed that. Yeah, me neither, of course. Just the fact that there is a lack of defensive injuries in the hands of the girls, to me, that makes almost impossible that the crime was committed by one single person here. I don't think so. Yeah, to me there were multiple actors again. Linda K. Johnson, the narrative turned very narrow. Yeah. Jay Ray, answering your question again, digital books, are you talking about a Kindle? A Kindle, exactly, a Kindle. Thank you for that. Yeah, some people don't like to buy a Kindle to read books because it's not personal. They like to have that contact with the book. Smell the paper, even if the paper smells humid or If the paper is an old paper, the smell of the paper, having the book in your hands makes more personal that material, the physical material instead of the digital material. Hello, Fishy, you're here again.
Hi. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, we can hear you
Or
good.
no?
No, how are you?
Okay. Good. How are you?
I'm fine. No, long time no see. I'm in Medellin, my hometown, on vacations this week. So yeah,
Nice.
nice. So tell us, what do you think about the whole interrogation situation, the interviews, the confessions, the material that was released by Tom Webster, let's say? Uh, what do you think about that?
Well, this interview in particular, right here, where he's talking to Holman, I think like one of the main things that that I was like struck with is that he doesn't give himself like any outs. So he's not like, I think if you were guilty, you would be like, oh, you know what? I actually go over to that, I explore all around the trail, and so I shoot little animals out there. You'd give yourself some sort of out for that bullet, or like, um, you know, like be like, oh yeah, I actually do let people borrow my gun all the time or something. And he just like he doesn't give himself any outs in that sense. He's just very like solid in like, well, it's, I don't know how it got there, but it's not mine. Like, if it's just like you're bullshitting me, it's not mine. Like, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Good point. I agree with you. And we have also Sterling here. How are you, Sterling?
Hey, how are y'all? Thanks for having me.
Fine, thank you. Thanks for calling.
Sterling, I love Sterling.
Hey, yeah. How you doing?
Awesome, and I'm very happy to have you here, man. Thanks for calling.
Well, and also let me know if my audio is okay.
It's much better than Fishy's. But Fishy, you're still okay. Don't worry.
I heard you say that, but I can hear Fishy fine. I don't know.
Perfect. It's maybe my setup here, but that's good. Now we can hear you well, both of you guys.
But I'm really late, and I haven't been around in a while, and I haven't been keeping up. But my first impression was this guy seems innocent. He seems like he's saying all the things an innocent person would say and the way an innocent person would act. And I don't know, maybe that's an obvious comment, but I've seen other people see it the other way. And that's what interests me is, like, I was going to ask you guys, because I haven't even seen all of it. Like, what would you say, like, if you were being like devil's advocate, like what's incriminating, against Richard Allen in all these interviews and evidence?
Well, in my opinion, there is nothing incriminating. There are things that I can understand that people are going to use against Richard Allen. Let's say when he made that confession in the Westville Correctional Facility, talking to his mother and to Kathy. I did it. I killed Abby and Libby. But we know that every confession coming from that correctional facility is going to be questionable, in my opinion. As Hiawatha was telling us here, right after the confession, he was saying, "But I have to tell you, there is some people here next to me," something in that sense. That's maybe one point that people can use, like this type of confession can play bad against Richard Allen. Other element was when Kathy entered into the room, which in my opinion, she was really traumatized by Holman before. I hope we can see the same interview between Kathy and Holman. I want to see what happened there. But when Kathy said, you didn't tell me that you were on the bridge, I understand if people are going to use that against Richard Allen. Maybe those were the two elements I can say that are not playing so well in favor of Richard Allen, but I don't see any definitive. And I agree with you. To me, the guy sounds and looks like an innocent and normal person, and he didn't make one single contradiction during the whole interview. Two interviews. A liar is gonna contradict himself. He's gonna react weird. This guy was perfectly normal. I will let you talk, guys.
Also, I think like where he's confessing to like his wife and his mom on the phone, like he just is like, I did it, and then Kathy's like, no, you didn't, you know, and he's not like, babe, I gotta tell you something, like I went and I got some beer and I was wasted and I was just really upset about like my mom or something. I had just gotten in a fight and like, yeah, I was pissed off and I did it, you know, like it wasn't like he was actually trying to tell her that he had done it. It was more like he was just like kind of like in it, like, I guess I did it. Like they're telling me I did it. And so like that's what like I would say about like those telephone confessions that I thought was weird is it didn't that's not how I would like tell somebody that I had done something like that. There would be like more to it than just like I did it.
Did we lose her?
No. I can hear you both.
I heard her say that's not how, and then I lost her.
Oh no.
I can hear Fishy. I can hear you, Sterling.
So well, sorry, Fishy. What were you saying? Because you were saying the last thing I heard you say was that's not how, and then I lost you.
That's not how like I would confess to like if I was telling like my partner or something that I had like killed people. I wouldn't just be like I did it. I'd be like, you know what? Like remember that day or like it was really hard around that time. I was drunk. I was like pissed off. I saw these girls, they were like talking crap to me and I just lost it or something. You know, like there would be like more to the explanation than just like I did it.
Right. It was almost like he was just checking off a box. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if that came through, but like checking off a box, like someone said, hey, you're going to call her and you're going to tell her this. So he got her right on the phone and he just spit it out. You know what I mean? Just like, I'm doing what I've been told to do. I just couldn't help but feel like that. Do you know what I mean? Do y'all?
Yeah, I kind of think almost like he was like doubting like his own reality, kind of like I did it, like because he's just been like constantly like told that he did it, like so maybe like it must be like being in like a bad dream where you're like stuck, like they just whisk you off and they tell you like they have all this evidence against you. They have experts that are saying like your voice matches. They found your bullet and you're like, did I freaking black out and do it or something? Like to where you're questioning your own reality, like because solitary confinement, and people say he wasn't in solitary, but like try being like you can hear in the background that noise is like constant, like of people like yelling and like the echo and just it's got to be like such a like if he's innocent, like that is a trip and a half that can happen to anybody, you know.
Yeah,
So I think maybe it's just like oh I did it, I guess I did it, you know, like maybe I blacked out or something, you know, like it would, I think it would have you questioning reality.
Okay. So you're saying you actually think like he might have even believed it, whereas, and I haven't heard all of it. Like I've really only heard this little interrogation that's on the screen. This is the like part 1 and 2 that I believe I've heard. So I haven't heard like the confessions or alleged confessions that came later that you're talking about. But it sounds like what you're saying is that he might have even believed it because he was losing his mind. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not necessarily that he like believed it, but kind of like yeah, I think he was in an altered state of mind. He doesn't sound like he does here, where he's like coherent and having like a conversation, and there's like feeling behind it, and he's like getting upset or being calm and stuff. He sounds like he's like all monotone and kind of just like going through the motions, more like it, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
What do you think about this comment from Shane? Fishy, can you read it? Or Sterling?
Yeah, I can. It says he
Oh,
said he left at 3:30 a few days after the crime Monday. It's up to what you believe, I suppose.
What do you think, guys,
okay.
about the? Yeah, go ahead, Sterling.
Well, yeah. Well, let's dig into that because and you know I'm like I said I'm behind, so forgive me. But there's always been talk about how he changed his story and he changed his timeline, and I assume I think what Shane's referring to is like what he told Dan Doolin in the days like immediately after versus what he said in maybe this interview. Is that right? Help me out, y'all.
I think that he may have some mistake in the time, but yeah, I think the question is about the testimony of Richard Allen changing allegedly the time he was there from one interview to the other one.
I don't. But is it the interviews or is it from Dan Doolin's like
Yeah,
report
Dan
of
Doolin.
what he had originally said? Because like that report got many things wrong. Like he didn't even get the phone number, like the IEN number. He was like missing a digit on that. He had the name wrong, but somebody said he corrected the name. Like that's Dan Doolin's what he says that Richard Allen said, but like in communication, we misunderstand each other all the time. Like really, it's a common thing. So say he asked him like, "Oh, were you here between this and this time?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then so Dan Doolin's like, "Oh yeah, he said that he was there at that time." You know, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's weird because I heard, I don't know if this is correct or not, that Dan Doolin and the same type of law enforcement agents like him, like don't know what was his position there, but they used to record the statements, and in this case there was no recording, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
But
he was
anyway,
a conservation officer.
exactly, conservation officer. Yeah, you're right.
And you, okay, and this interview that's on the screen was from 2022. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, okay, all right. So what you're saying is Dan Doolin usually would record his interviews, but he didn't record the one that's really important.
I
And
heard that somewhere.
According to Veronica, she said that he only wrote down that Dan Doolin said that he only wrote down Richard Allen's phone information. That's what she said in the comments here. I don't know if that's a fact, but that sounds like it could be.
Yeah, I remember they took
that one.
like the serial number of his phone. So when we said, or when people said that, what is his phone right now? But at the time the phone was available, they took the information of Richard Allen's phone. If they were diligent with that information, they should be able to track where was the phone at the trails at that date. You know what I mean? And now we have some contradiction here between the statement made by Dan Doolin and then Richard Allen correcting that. What? I didn't say that. I was there like at noon or 1 o'clock, something like that. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Everything here is blurry. The British guy image is blurry. The car that was presented, the still image of that car is blurry. The whole investigation is blurry here. This is just insane.
Oh, about the car too. Like, they said that like he was driving that car, but he clearly said that like he used to drive that black car when he worked out of town, but once he started working in Delphi, that he gave that car to his wife and he would drive the van because it was like older and the car was like a nicer car. So he said the only time he would drive that black car is if he was like going long distances, and he was like he didn't consider going to like wherever to see his mom that day a long distance. So basically he was saying that like he would have been driving the van, but like they just kept asking him questions and like basically took it as like, oh, well, I guess he went on a long trip, so he was driving that car. But he said that like he didn't start driving the car until like the van started being like unreliable. So basically, he was saying like he didn't drive that black car. His wife would have been driving it. And also about where he or the alternate way to get to the trails, because I think in order for their story to make sense, he would have had to go a back way in order to be caught on that camera, like, and not gone the regular way that he goes. And so they were like, "Oh, do you go any other ways?" And he said, like, we like one time we went the back way to try to get back to town. And when he said that, he said we, so I'm assuming it was like him and his wife. And he said that they got like kind of lost. But like, so he wasn't saying that they sometimes drive that way. He was saying like one time we went that way and we got lost. So like he normally would go the way that, like, I don't think he would have been caught on the Hoosier Harbor store camera anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point, as usual.
And I haven't. I'm so far behind that I haven't seen the image of the car. Do you have that available, or would it be trouble?
I can look for it here.
I
Give me
haven't
1
seen
second.
it either.
You can continue
Okay.
here, and I'm gonna look for it.
But yeah, fishy. I heard on another channel where there was some, and I think it goes into what you're talking about some sort of discrepancy about where they want him to have parked versus where he told them he parked. Can you go into that a little bit more? What do you know about that?
Well, from what I remember, I watched it like briefly on Tom Webster's, but there was like a lot of stuff going on in the chat, so maybe my attention was like a little bit in two places, so I wouldn't want this to be like taken as like fact. But I believe he was saying that they used to have a parking lot in a certain place, and then they had like this gravel trail that goes up to it, and he was like trying to say like where he parked, which I took it to be where the parking is on the other side. But I'm not sure exactly where it was, but I don't think he was saying the CPS building. Like at no point in time was that something that came out of his mouth, but they just kept trying to make it to where they were like, "Oh, well, where else would you park?" And like, I don't know. He wasn't like, "Yep, that's where I parked."
Which, yeah. Again, I was listening to it and watching it very briefly, and there was a lot of stuff going on. I was like, "Whoa, what is that? What is this? What's going on here?" But like, I don't understand. If someone asked me like where I parked, I would be able to tell them exactly. Like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why it's so vague as far as where he parked versus where they think he parked. You know what I mean? Why is that?
Well, I think they're trying to get him to say certain things instead of like, okay, so there's there's this one investigative interview technique where it's more about information collecting. I forget what it's called, but they use it in a lot of other countries. And like their goal is basically to get information, and then they'll review it, and then they'll like go back and interview more if there's any like discrepancies. But like if you go in there assuming that this person is guilty, then it's going to affect the way that you're like interviewing them. So they want specific answers from him, and so they keep going at him until he kind of is just like, well, sure, like maybe I parked there, when in reality that's not what his story was. His story was like that there was like this one place that you park that I don't know exactly where that place is that he was talking about. Like I guess if you are assuming that it's at the CPS building, you could make it into that, but I don't feel like that's what he was saying. I'm not sure though.
I'm very slow here trying to find the picture, guys. Sorry for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no worries.
exactly. You as a libertarian. He says, I go hiking. I might park at 4 different places. If you ask me 5 years later which one I used at any given day, I have no clue. So
Oh, okay. That's a good point. I didn't see that comment. That's a great point. Because sometimes, like if I'm used to parking in one place, and for whatever reason I park in another place, you walk out of the Walmart and you go to the right, like where you always park, but you're not there. So yeah, maybe. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. And I think another thing, like it seems like people are vague about the names of the roads and the streets. Like it's not like they're perfectly labeled with signs, and some people call it this and that. And I think that might lend to some confusion,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think that also that there's like a discrepancy of like Jerry Holman, he doesn't live in Delphi, I don't believe he's like from Delphi. So and then also I don't think that Richard Allen he's not like native to Delphi. So when Liggett and whatever that other guy's name was in his first interview, like
Mullin.
they have different names for stuff. I think you're correct. And then they also added that Freedom Bridge and kind of changed up the trail. So I remember he was saying that like sometimes there's a sign that says no parking and sometimes there's like not, or like and so he was saying that sometimes he would park there and he maybe even had parked there when there was a sign that said not to, but he's not sure,
Yeah, 100%.
Mullen, yeah, Mullen's the other guy.
Mullin, yeah. Okay. I don't know, guys. What do you think it happened during the interview between Holman and Tati Allen? What is your thinking about that? Because he entered like kind of traumatized at the end of the interview. What do you think about it?
Is it recorded?
It is recorded, but it's not part of the process. So it was not presented like as an evidence, let's say here. And it is not a public record. So I don't think if that material is going to be released at one point, or if the new attorneys of Richard Allen, they are going to be able to use it during the appealing process. So now I think
I'm sorry. So you're saying Holman talked to Kathy? So what were you saying, Fishy?
Oh, your audio is a little bit robot-y. To me, at least. I don't know if it is to everybody. That's okay.
So can you repeat the question, Sterling? Because we lost you.
Yeah, sorry, I might need to refresh. Let me know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we can.
So I was just asking like about Crypt's question about, you said so Holman interviewed Kathy in that room and or maybe it was, we just haven't seen it. Is that what you were asking about? And what happened? Or was it outside the interview room that Rick was in?
Sterling,
I just
you're
want
a
to make sure I
robot
understood
again. I'm
your
sorry.
original question.
You were still robotic during part of your question, but I think
I'll be back.
Okay, good. So what about you, Fishy? What do you think about
it? With Kathy, I think Kathy is one of she, just from looking at her Facebook and stuff, and I don't mean this in like a negative way at all, but like she seems very like innocent and like I don't know why that would be bad. I don't even know why I prefaced it like that, but she seems like what the cops tell her, she's gonna be like take it as like they know exactly what they're talking about. So I think Jerry probably told her we have he admitted to being there at the time. We have his voice, which experts, because he can also lie to Kathy. They can lie to people in their interrogations, right? So what did he tell Richard? He told him that like we have all these facts against you. And so Cassie's probably like, what the fuck, dude? Like it's his bullet and like that's his voice and like, like so she was probably tripping because in that when she's in there, she seems like she's like kind of dazed and like what the heck? you know? Whereas like when she's on the phone with him, she's like, no, dude, you're tripping. Like you didn't like, you know? So I think Jerry probably fucking made her feel like they have all this shit against them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. I think the same. You know, when we watch the video, the interrogation videos, we can see some black cuts at different points of the interview or of the interrogation. To me, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Do you think there may be something that law enforcement they don't want to present to the public? I'm trying to be just suspicious here about that. And what if Richard Allen was saying, "Hey, you know, I'm done here. Give me a lawyer," and I don't know. Just trying to be really conspiracy theorist here, conspirational.
The parts of the video that just black out.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking? I honestly, I find it very weird. I don't know if like those are long blackouts or like just a blip, you know, because you can't really tell if it was spliced together. So yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. It's just like doesn't sound like very transparent, let's say, but maybe it's nothing, but you cannot help yourself asking, what the fuck is this?
Is that
Is
that picture on the bottom of the car, the one of the car on the bottom and the one on the car on the top, is the one on the top like a cutout of what that car looks like, and then the one on the bottom is their evidence?
Yeah, the one of the top is I think is the Richard Allen's car, and or a model that is representative of Richard Allen's car, and the one at the bottom is the still image that was presented during the interview, and this is like a side by side made by Tom Webster. So
where's the light coming through the rims or whatever?
Yeah, but let's talk to Sterling again. You're back, Sterling.
Oh yeah, hopefully I'm better now. My audio
much better. Yeah, perfect.
So much better.
Yeah, no, this is the image I guess I wanted to see, and I have the same question that Fishy does as far as which one's from the video and which one, yeah, what exactly we're looking at here.
Yeah, the one at the bottom is the still image, or one of the still images that was presented as an evidence during the process. And the one at the top, I'm not sure if it's the actual car of Richard Allen or it's a model representative of the car that Richard Allen used to have, let's say. So it's a side by side comparing Richard Allen's car with the still image that was presented during the process as an evidence.
And you know, sorry for like, I'm sorry for digging into this, but like, it was during the daytime. Why is the photo on the bottom like it looks like nighttime, like on the moon or something? Well, I don't understand.
I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe it's the resolution of the camera.
Do you know what it looks like?
Yeah.
It looks like they had a picture and they copied it, like on a copying machine almost. That's like, in my opinion, that's kind of what it looks like, you know?
Yeah, good point. Like a black and white photocopy, let's say. It's possible.
Yeah, like what, or like maybe it's just the security camera video is not colored or something. But like USA Libertarian was saying that Jerry Holman took a picture of the video with his cell phone. I don't know if that's what they used in the evidence as trial, or if he was just like using that. But that's, I hope they showed the video to people, like the jurors. I don't know. Is this actually the only evidence that they have of that car?
It's a good question. I don't know if they have the actual video, and if they have the video, was the video presented during the process? But what I recall, what I remember is that they took a couple of still images of that video, and that is what was presented during the process. And I remember that I think USA Libertarian is right. I have the same memory here. I have to look for the source of that, but I think some pictures were taken with a cell phone. Is this one
That's
the
wild.
picture that was taken by Holman or not? That's another thing, but we have to look for that information. I don't know. But anyways, what we can see here is is the picture that was presented during the trial as an evidence. Let's say.
And I mean, look, regardless of which car is which, you can't see who's driving it. If we're being honest, in either picture, you can't tell who's driving that car or how many people are in either car. And if you're being honest, I don't know that you can distinguish what exactly that car on the bottom is with like 100% certainty. I'm no expert, but I wouldn't be surprised if an expert said that could be one or two different types of cars, if they couldn't narrow it down.
They certainly couldn't narrow it down to like the year, make, and model. I would presume, like, because even when they have a clear image of the car, like where you can actually see like, oh, it's a Honda Civic or whatever, like they still usually have like multiple years that it could be. So like that image right there, like I'm literally shocked right now that is what they like. That's what they have. Like that's one, I don't see any light coming through the rims. Maybe there's like a lighter spot on one of the tires, but I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, those are custom rims on that car. Like that's what they're gonna say, that those rims are what like distinguish. Like what the fuck? Sorry, I apologize my language, but
No worries. Yeah, so that's about the car. So to me, it's just a blurry image that we cannot take any conclusion about it. Just my opinion. Sterling, you were talking about.
But
you were asking about. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and let me know if my audio gets bad. I can refresh. I don't want to be that guy. But like
Sounds
they
good.
presented this photo as evidence that Richard Allen drove that Escort at a certain time, right? They presented it to show the timeline, right? That this is him coming back past the store at a certain time, right? That's what it's all about, right?
Right.
But where's him leaving? I feel like him leaving. What time did he leave? Is even more important. And I don't remember ever hearing any evidence about what they even theorized, what time he left and how he left and where he left and why that wasn't captured on the same video.
Yeah, that whole timeline that was presented by the state is just not solid enough, in my opinion. And again, they were very adamant with the van that spoke to Richard Allen, and the times they put for that van passing through the driveway doesn't correspond to the actual timestamp that was in the recording. So the whole timeline of the state is not very convincing, in my opinion. There are a lot of holes there. You were talking about, or you were asking about the interrogation to Kathy Allen in a separate room. What was your question exactly, Sterling?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just wondering, was that because you had asked a question about what did he say to Kathy? And my question was, did that conversation happen in the room, or did they step out and he had a conversation with Kathy outside of the investigation room that Richard Allen was in? In other words, like, was it recorded, and is there any chance we'll ever see it, was my question.
I think he was, my understanding is that she was being interviewed in a separate room by law enforcement. I think Jerry Holman was one of them. And at one point, at the end of the video with Holman, you can see that Holman brings Kathy Allen to the room, and he was like pushing Kathy Allen to tell Rick Allen, like, hey, tell him to say the truth. Tell him to do the right thing. Tell him that he was lying to you. And she was, when you see that Kathy Allen, she's like trembling, she's crying, she's like in another state, like traumatized, in my opinion. I don't know what happened in that separate interview, and I wish we can see what happened there. What type of information law enforcement was trying to feed her. I don't know, but it bothered me a lot to see Kathy Allen like that. And I sympathized with Richard Allen when he said to Jerry Holman, you know, you can fuck with me, you can play with me, but let my wife out of this situation. That was really gross. And man, I felt bad, like disgusted when I was watching that final scene. So what happened there here, I'm gonna play it here. But yeah, that's basically what happened. So I think we should, if we have the opportunity to watch that interview between law enforcement and Kathy Allen, it would be great. Let's see if that's gonna be possible or not. So that's what we were talking about, Kathy Allen, Sterling.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure he just told her a lot of the same things that he told Richard Allen, like, "Oh, we got all the experts. Everybody says that he did it. It's a sure thing. It's 100%." And then she went in there to the room where he was, and they were hoping to get some sort of response. They were hoping that she would confront him and that he wouldn't be able to lie to her. But you know, from what I saw, he still came across as innocent and a man who very wisely didn't want to contradict his wife or tell his wife she was wrong, or step on any toes. He was very calm, and he was so calm about the whole thing. And I don't think I would have been in control of my emotions the way he was.
Yeah, you know what? Let's play that part. I'm gonna play it. Give me just 1 second.
It's making it possible for people of all.
Let me know whatever I can do to help. If you need more water or anything. Okay. Need another smoke break. I just feel like you're I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you don't know what to think.
It's tough.
She's gonna enter soon. Couple of seconds here.
I noticed he didn't even look at their papers or their computer.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
It's all right, babe. It's gonna be all right. They're trying to tell me that you actually believe that I did it. And I just can't believe that.
Trying to figure out where there's a bullet out there. Dude.
I know. Do you think I'm not? And that's what I told them. I can't explain something I don't understand. I tried to explain to him that there's no way that a bullet from my gun was at a murder scene because it didn't happen. I didn't even have my gun that day I went out. You know me. You know this isn't something I could do. And I know that you know that. You don't have to tell me that, I know. they really think I did this. And they want me to believe that I know you know I didn't do this. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know what they're trying to do here, but I'm not gonna say something that's not true, and I can't explain something that I don't understand. The only way for me to explain it is that I don't know. Because I'm saying it's not possible. There's no way that a bullet from my gun ended up at a murder scene. I didn't murder anybody. I didn't help somebody murder anybody. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you. I know you know me. I know you know that I didn't do this, had anything to do with it. Like, talk about scheming or something.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know how did a bullet from your gun get out there?
I don't know.
Because they said it came from our gun.
I know that's what they believe me. That's what they're telling me.
But how did it get there?
I don't know.
And they said there was one in your box above your dresser that matched it.
They showed me that picture too. I can't explain it. And I don't.
I can't either. They keep asking me and I don't know how to answer that.
You
There's no
answer
way
it.
for me to know.
I understand. Me either. And that's what I'm trying to tell them. You want to keep asking me and I just keep telling you I can't explain it. I don't know how to explain something that isn't possible. But I know, this is what I do know. I know that no bullet from my gun was connected with a murder in any way, shape, or form. And there's no way a bullet from my gun would have been near Abby and Libby's murder or anything else, because I never even seen those girls. Period. And I didn't even have my gun that day. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to make that any clearer. I don't know how to make that any clearer. I don't know how to make somebody understand. I get what he's saying. I don't have a way to explain it.
And they're like, there's a witness that said it was you out there.
Dear, I don't
And
know
I'm
what.
like, how did they know it was you?
They don't.
Recibe tu plata del exterior fácil y rápido. En el Banco W lo hacemos seguro y confiable.
So they said they showed her a picture. And I'm like, of course you were out there.
If they see me out there, they see me out there, dear. And I
But
told
were you
them.
on the bridge?
I told them I was on the bridge. I went out to the first trestle.
Oh, okay.
That first
I
thing
don't
that.
remember you telling me that. You told me, so I told him you weren't on it. But I didn't.
It doesn't, hon, you're not in any trouble. You didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
Right.
Huh?
I didn't know you were on it. I'm sorry.
Well, don't worry about it.
You told
Hon,
me you weren't.
huh?
You told me you weren't, so I just was.
No, I told you that I walked.
Okay.
I love you, baby. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I know that that's not what I told you. I love you. And it's just, they're not going to get away with this.
They did.
This is exactly what I would never want for you. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to say I did something I didn't do. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I know you know me. and I know you know that I would never do this. All I can say, hon, is you know me. I know, and I know you know me, and I know you. And what they're doing to you right now, I'm not okay with this at all. And they know it, but they're going to do what they're going to do. I'm just sorry you're having to hurt. I'm sorry I'm having to go through it. I mean, it's like I told them, the damage is already done. You've already talked to people I work with, you talk to neighbors of mine, and I care about what people think. You know I care about what people think.
You know.
Hell, I have enough trouble not trying to believe that people think. Half the time I just think they think what I'm thinking. You know what I'm talking about. I'm always worried about what Jory thinks or.
I know.
And they're trying to, talk about my anxiety and depression and shit. And, I've tried to explain to them it's been going on for 7-8 years. Hell, I've had it my whole life. They want me to tell them that I did it. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to admit to something that I didn't do. How stupid is that? I don't care what they do to me. I'm not going to admit to doing something I had nothing to do with. And I'm not going to try to explain something I can't explain because I don't know. You tell me because I don't know. I just know that I never even carried the gun unless we were going mushroom hunting, tromping through the woods, or fishing along the river. That's the only time I even carried it for the most part. I never even would have, hell, I haven't carried my gun and I don't even remember a time when I used to carry it. I mean, other than going fishing, like if we were going night fishing.
But how did the bullet get up there, honey? I can't understand that.
I told you, I can't either, huh? There's two explanations. One is the bullet didn't come from my gun.
It did though, honey. They've got ballistics on it.
I get that. Then it didn't come from a murder scene. I don't know what else to say. I get that. I get what they're saying. What I'm telling you is, if that bullet came from my gun, there's no way it was found with their investigation for the murders. There's no way. I can't explain something I have no answer for. They want you to think that I done it. That's what this is all about. They want you to come in here and make me believe that you think I did it, and I know you don't. You know me too well. You know I'd never do something like this, or even be involved with something like this.
All must go, man.
So they're probably going to come and take you away from me and go at me again. So, just tell them you want an attorney, and they'll have to let you leave. Don't worry about me. I'm trying to, I don't know what they're doing.
Another black cat.
Yes, you do.
There is no way that evidence is gonna show that I did
Right
this.
fucking here, Red.
You got one piece of evidence
I got
that I
multiple
can't explain.
pieces. Multiple. I'm not showing you my whole fucking hand here.
I don't care. I'm
You
telling
should
you I'm
care.
done
And
talking.
now you're gonna drag your fucking wife and your daughter through this because you're too fucking bullheaded to get out in front of this and admit that you made a mistake. And whatever the fuck happened out there, we'll never fucking know because you're too big of a fucking bullheaded. Go ahead.
So tell you I did something
Tell me
that
the
I
truth.
didn't do.
The truth, Rick. I don't want to
I've
know.
told you the truth and you don't want to hear it.
The evidence tells me otherwise. The evidence clearly indicates you're involved in this.
No,
I
it
saw this.
doesn't.
It fucking does.
It doesn't. I'm telling you that there is no way that a bullet from my gun was used in these murders.
And I'm telling you that we had this fucking round on February the
understand.
14th, 2017. It's been secured in a fucking laboratory. And we've tested other guns. That people that we.
I understand
I'm
what you're
telling her.
saying.
I want her to hear this,
I
Rick.
understand what you're saying. What I'm telling you is I can't explain something I don't understand.
Oh, the scientists
That's not
explained it
possible.
for you. The lab analysis of analysts have explained that for you. They're saying that this round, without a doubt, came from your gun.
Then
And
you've
you told me-
taken it from somewhere else then. Because it's not possible.
I did not take it from somewhere else. It was logged in. It was taken as photograph. You think we fucking went and stole your fucking round and threw it down by a fucking dead girl's foot? This ain't fucking TV. This is realistic.
I understand.
We collected that fucking item on February the 14th. We didn't take it from anywhere
Okay.
else but that fucking scene. And we didn't take your gun from anywhere else. We took it from your fucking house.
I'm telling you, I can't explain something.
And I'm telling you, the fucking analysts explain it. You can't get past this.
Can you please let my wife out?
Absolutely. Come on, Kathy.
I love you, baby. Can I kiss her?
Yeah, kiss her. Do the right thing, Kathy. Tell him to do the right thing.
She knows I will.
Yeah, do the right thing. You're gonna put your family through this for no reason.
The black cat before Holman entered into the room was really suspicious. I don't know, guys,
What do you
but
think happened?
I don't know. Very weird. Just before Holman was entering into the room. Very
I
suspicious.
think he said,
Right before he entered, he said he told Kathy, "You should get a lawyer. Then he can't then they can't talk to you anymore or whatever." Then it cuts and the whole temperature of the room is sky high, and so did he walk in just fucking raging, or it seemed like it would have happened
From our earliest days,
sort of.
And I didn't finish the video. Just 1 second, guys, because I want to play the last part. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you, Bishop.
no, I think that the blackouts,
That was a complete thought.
I'm sorry, yeah, I was going to just add that I think the blackouts just don't paint law enforcement in a good light. Period. Like he probably said, "Escúchame tu punta madre, boy, is it algo?" You know, he let him have it, and that's why they cut it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they want to make it seem like, he wasn't being antagonized, and that Holman wasn't being belligerent and combative. They want to make it seem like a conversation.
What?
You're gonna pay for what you've done to my wife.
What am I
You
doing?
wanna
What?
fuck with me, but you leave my wife out of this. Leave me out of it.
No, you're involved in this. You're fucking rounds there, Rick.
No, it's
I can
not.
see you're getting pissed off. I
I
understand.
am pissed off. Did you not see my wife?
Did you not see these fucking two girls dead? No, that's what happened. You got fucking pissed off at them. You fucking dragged them down a fucking hill, and you fucking killed them. Don't fucking tell me you didn't.
I didn't kill anybody.
Bullshit.
Another cut. Another
You're
cut.
upset for a reason, not because
You
of
guys
us.
are trying to
Because of
kill
you.
somebody.
You're trying to tell me that I'm not making this fucking round shit up, Rick. It is what it is.
I'm done talking. Arrest me.
Happy to. Be fucking happy to, because I tried to fucking help you and you wouldn't fucking do it.
Oh, you're helping me.
The black cats are really, really
Guilty, and I know it, and I'm gonna fucking prove it.
Okay.
And I'm not paying for any of this shit. You're paying. This is on you. This ain't on me. It's fucking on you, Rick. You had your fucking opportunity. Fuck. Fucking.
I think this is the end of the video. So I don't know,
Wow,
guys.
yeah.
This is the reason why I canceled my doorbell camera subscription.
I didn't like the way Holman treated Kathy Allen, telling her, tell your husband what to do, tell him to do the right thing. And again, we don't know what happened in the separate interview they made to her. What type of information they were feeding her, lies, bullying her, maybe. I don't know. That's something to. I want to watch that interview between Kathy Allen and law enforcement. And the black cats, they are placed in a very specific parts of the video. I think that was really suspicious, again, in my opinion. Let you talk.
Well,
guys.
isn't there a time thing on the top of the video? So it should show, like, if there is like a cut, it should show how like long that cut is. But like it could just also be like the video is, because you see how it like froze up when Holman was like, he was still like yelling or saying something, but it didn't quite like line up. So like at the top it says room 1, the date, and then the time. So you should be able to see exactly like what's cut and how long it was cut, you know?
Okay, I'm gonna try to advance the video to that black cat to confirm. That's a good point. Thank you. Thank you, Fish. I will do it. So that was before.
And hi, Kathy.
Kathy?
Kathy Clinton, not Kathy Allen. I mean, hi to her too if she's watching, I guess.
So,
okay. The timestamp was 10:58.
Shaggable Simon. Sorry.
Oh, the
No.
timestamp is up there. Oh, okay, I see it up there in the top left corner behind the little title, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like you're trying to find out like how much time are in these blackouts. Is that what you were saying? Okay, yeah, good idea.
Exactly. 58:4. Okay, I'm gonna write it here in the chat. 10:58:04. That's the point where the black cat appeared. So let's say when it comes back. 11:02:24.
It says 11 what? 11 what?
11:02:24. So we are talking about 4 minutes difference.
Yeah, he came in there and
That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting and very suspicious, in my opinion.
They did a
And
good
how
job
does
of
it-
cutting it though, because it almost looked like it was just like a blip or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
like
And just before,
like a natural commercial break.
Yeah, I guess.
But what does he say when the video comes back up? What are they saying right here? Let me hear just a few seconds here.
Okay. I'm gonna advance it, reverse it a little bit to listen to the whole thing here.
Before the black.
They're
and
probably
then
gonna come and
after.
take you away from me and go at me again. So. Just tell them you want an attorney and they'll have to let you leave. Don't worry about me. I'm trying to, I don't know what they're doing.
Yes, you do.
There is no way that evidence is gonna show that I did
Right
this.
fucking here, Red.
You got one piece of
It's very interesting that Kathy Allen was talking about, Richard Allen was talking about, go get an attorney at this point. No? Very suspicious, guys. These guys are ashamed.
I think he didn't.
Fucking
I think
shame.
he didn't say come in there and say anything intelligent. You know, I mean, like he probably just busted up in there like, all right, let's cut the fucking bullshit. You fucking piece of shit. You sick fuck. You know, what I mean, sorry about your channel critics. I apologize, but that's what it is. And you know, he was already framing Richard Allen as guilty, and they didn't want the jury to see that. You know, they didn't want people to see that they already thought that he was the guy and that they used tactics that aren't quite above board, even though they're legal. You know, they so they strategically cut it out. I wonder if the jury saw this, like the parts that are cut out. That is,
I
I
hope
think
so.
I think this is what was shown in court. I think the releases are the evidence that was shown in court, right? Is that correct?
That's my understanding. And what I'm thinking now is that during those 4 minutes that are missing here, they were talking about the lawyers, about getting a lawyer or something like that, and that's suspicious. Very, very suspicious.
he expressed his wishes
Sterling,
to
you're a
the
robot.
attorney and to stop talking.
You are in a robotic mode again, Starring.
Cryptex, I love your accent so much. Like when you say murder or like anything, I love it.
Thank you for that, Fishy. It's part of my charm.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
It is. It definitely is.
Let's see if Sterling comes back. You know that I cannot make the difference between murder shit and murder shit. I can't say only shit. I don't. So when I say murder shit, it's because I'm thinking in the real, in the actual world. It's not because I'm making fun of murder shit.
I mean,
my vocal structure is made like that, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah, I don't know if Sterling is coming back or not. Anyways,
oh, he's coming back. Hopefully.
I hope so. Any other thought about this, Fishy? What do you want to add?
Is Sterling Hiawatha? I just connected the dots right now. I think. Oh, yep, I'm a genius. Any other thoughts? I haven't watched everything, so I probably should do that before I form any thoughts. But I have a couple of videos on my channel, and I'm not trying to rep my channel or whatever, but I have a couple on interrogations, and just like Cassie was saying, why wouldn't Rick want an attorney himself? And I think that people genuinely think that and this could go for guilty people. They could think that they could outsmart the police, but I think it especially goes for innocent people. You would think if I tell the cops the truth and I just there's no way that they're gonna they don't have anything against me because I'm telling them the truth. But that's not the case. And so it's really important anytime not to talk to the cops. I would almost say especially if you're innocent, then get a lawyer, which people would say oh, guilty people get lawyers. That's what people think. If I ask for a lawyer, it's gonna make me look guilty or whatever. But that's not the case, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
And some people Go ahead.
Oh, I was just USA Libertarians comment right here. That the cops will be insinuate that you're guilty because you're asking for a lawyer or whatever.
Yeah. And some people say that maybe they didn't have enough money to pay an attorney or something like that. But my understanding is that you can ask for a public lawyer, no? If you don't have money, the state, they have the obligation to give you
Well,
an
I know
attorney.
that if you're being
Not.
charged with a crime, you definitely have the right to an attorney. But do they have to provide you a lawyer if they're just questioning you? I don't know, but like if I don't know, I would assume that other people would not know that as well. And so like I'm not sure that they do provide you a lawyer just when they're talking to you. I think you actually have to be charged with a crime, but I should probably look it up. I'm on the computer right now. I could just look it up.
I love this comment from Shane. If Jerry asked me how many sugars in my coffee do I have, I would ask for an attorney. That's funny.
It's true though. Like literally, like if they're talking to you, they're looking for things to use against you. Nothing can be used in your favor. Like if you talk to the cops and it's a favorable statement, then it's hearsay. Like, I mean, I guess if it's recorded, maybe not. But like, just like remember that in your head that like statements against interest are not hearsay. So if it's something that you're saying that's against your like what you would think, like, you know, your interest, but like if it's in your interest, then that is hearsay, and so it can't be brought into court anyways. So like literally if you're talking to the cops, they're only going to be using it against you.
Yeah. Hiawatha. I dealt with Holman personally 10 years ago, and he's a very intimidating man for sure. And now he's playing angel when he goes to YouTube to make interviews. What do you think, Fishy, about Holman saying that he cannot talk about the Wabash River at this point?
I think it's the same with Nick McClellan. I think it's an easy out for them to say, oh, we can't talk about this. Like they just say it for stuff they don't feel like talking about. But I mean, if there is like a further case on that, I don't know. But I think it's an easy out for them.
Yeah, to me it's very weird. I don't know. It's like an opportunity for law enforcement to say that we did everything that was in our hands to catch this killer. We spent a lot of resources, a lot of money, a lot of time, and we were not able to find anything. It was an opportunity for law enforcement to talk in a good way about themselves. But they prefer to say, you know, we cannot talk about the Wabash River. To me, there's something there. There's some information that for some reason they don't want to talk about. You know what I mean?
I mean, perhaps it could be that they spent millions of dollars on a search that resulted in nothing.
But they can use it. They can use it for his own benefit. Like we were so involved in solving this crime that we spent $1 million here. You know how good I was trying to solve this case. So he's smart enough to use that information for his own benefit, but he's not doing that. So to me, this is really suspicious. I don't know. Maybe it's my cryptex.
Okay, Cryptex.
Yep.
I just wanted to read you like what your rights are as far as an attorney goes. It says, while not in custody, you still have the right to an attorney during police questioning, and you can request one at any time. However, law enforcement is not obligated to provide an attorney, but they must stop questioning you if you request to speak with one. So if you're like, if it's a custodial interview, then they have to provide you with one. But if you're not in custody, then they don't have to provide you with one, and they but they're supposed to stop questioning you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Good point. Steve is here. How are you, Steve? So we have two opposite sides here in this community. We have the prof and we have Steve. And it's glad to have you here having a good and a civil conversation in the chat. Steve says, having been involved in 1,000+ interviews, Holman mannerisms are poor, a loss of control, and poorly structured. Yeah, I was not impressed at all with Holman, at all, zero. I don't know. It was like a parrot repeating the same question about the bullet. He didn't have like any other cards under the sleeve. I don't know. Sterling, sorry for that. I'm gonna put it again. Link for Sterling is in the chat. I forgot what. Okay, let's wait a bit for Sterling. But yeah, I was not impressed by Holman at all. And again, I think they were just expecting to have a confession. They didn't have that confession during the interrogation, during the interviews. They had to put Richard Allen in the Westville Correctional Facility to have that confession, and they succeeded. So, but everything here was really fishy. And,
I just snorted. Oh dear.
Sterling is back. You can talk, Sterling, now. You hear Sterling? You're muted. Okay.
I don't think you added. Did you add him
Yeah, he's
into
there.
the
No?
thing?
Shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, Sterling. You're back. You there, Sterling? Sterling. I think he's having like some technical problems, maybe. That happens. So
It's kind of funny because when me and Sterling were like we were coming up with questions to ask Greeno this one time, and like Sterling was like giving Greeno mad crap about like because he was saying that like he couldn't get his audio and stuff it's funny, but yeah, I wish he could talk so he could
we lost him.
Could talk about it.
Steve, Fishy is saying that please unblock her. You have Fishy blocked in your channel. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, True Crime Web, please. I beg you. I swear, I used to be a little bit mouthy, but I'm much better now. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, Steve says, I was impressed by Allen's control. As for what could have been gained in the interview, I would have approached Richard Allen differently. Yeah. I was zero impressed by Holman, for real. And I'm glad you're confirming my feeling here, Steve. So I don't know.
Well, like in what situation is it made better to make it more tense and to yell at people? That's never gonna like make anything better. Like it's gonna make your memory worse. It's gonna make it's just adding like stress to a situation is never a good idea in my opinion.
And if you have something really solid, you're gonna break anyone there. We have this, but they didn't have anything, so he couldn't break him during that interview, if that was the purpose, of course. And it was kind of sad. I was expecting better, but at the end they succeeded. That's the thing with his fishy stuff. They were able to convict Allen. I think, Fishy, I'm gonna stop the live here. Maybe we're gonna do something later. What about you? Are you going to do some I don't know, reaction about this material in your channel or not?
Maybe do you want to come on? I could try to get Sterling to come on too if he's listening. Sterling, I always want you on the show. Sorry. But
breaking news, guys. Breaking news. I'm jealous.
Oh my goodness.
No, for sure.
But yeah, maybe tonight.
Cool. Let's do it.
Cool.
Send me the link. So
Okay.
that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being here in the chat, and please hit the like, share the video, and put your comments in the comment section. And see you tonight at Fishy's channel. Don't Hate Create. So thank you so much. See you
Good
guys.
night.